It's the year 2017, and for some reason we're all talking about Night Trap again, which was the full motion video game for the Sega CD that really thrust video games into the spotlight when it comes to the US government. There had been other instances since then, of course, and before then, but Night Trap was the one that pretty much set a precedent. You saw it all over cable television, all over the news stations and whatnot. And with limited run games re-releasing Night Trap, it's pretty interesting that once again we have this renewed interest in Night Trap. The game is also coming digitally to Steam and PS4 this upcoming week. So I was looking through some of my old videos and I noticed that I did a video that I was actually pretty proud of. It was the 5 times the US government got involved in video games. And this video just completely bombed. I'm not sure why. It had a really ugly thumbnail, so probably nobody wanted to click it. But the people that did watch that video, the few of those, they did seem to enjoy it. I thought it was a really well put together video as well. So this episode of RGT 85 Classics, we're gonna revisit that video because it's pretty much timeless information. You know, it's my opinion on the 5 controversies hasn't changed, and you know, the facts haven't changed about it. So today we are going to look at the 5 times the US government stuck their nose in video games. And I hope you guys enjoyed this video. So sit back, relax, and let's look at the time that the US government got involved with my video games.
Number 5. Death Race gets pulled. Death Race was a game released in arcades back in 1976, with a rumor stating that only around 500 copies of the game existed. Why such a low number? This was actually the first video game to be pulled due to content. While primitive by today's standards, Death Race features one racing around trying to run over gremlins, which look a lot like humans, which make a noise when you hit them, and a tombstone pops up after doing this. The National Safety Council called this game gross, which led to mainstream media chastising the game, thus putting Death Race into obscurity. Number 4. Phantasmagoria gets banned. Phantasmagoria was a PC game released by Sierra back in 1995. A point-and-click full-motion video adventure game, Phantasmagoria stood out from the crowd with a robust storyline, tons of actors, copious amounts of violence, and sexuality. Playing a female who's in a mansion that is filled with supernatural spirits all trying to attack, kill, or even rape her, the game quickly saw both success and controversy. Retailers such as CompUSA refused to carry the game because of the realistic violence, and the country of Australia banned the game altogether. Despite these setbacks though, Phantasmagoria was widely successful and was still one of the best-selling games of 1995. Number 3. Hot Coffee mod for GTA San Andreas. Grand Theft Auto was a controversial series in its own right. Being under the radar since its inception, the introduction to the 3D world in Grand Theft Auto 3 really got the game on the radar with violence, prostitutes, drug smuggling, and more. Things came to a head, however, with Grand Theft Auto San Andreas. The Hot Coffee minigame was discovered via a mod in the PC version of the game in 2005, which has the lead character going through a sex minigame. While disabled, the assets of the minigame were also found in the PS2 and Xbox versions of the game, which could be accessed via a hacking device. Due to this, the game was reclassified from a mature rating to an adults-only rating. Senator Hillary Clinton suggested that the additional regulations be added to video game sales, and Congress also had the FTC investigate whether or not Rockstar undermined the ESRB with the content being in the game. Because of the Hot Coffee mod, Grand Theft Auto San Andreas was completely pulled from Australia. Sorry, Wood. Number 2. Mortal Kombat and Night Trap scare America. With the rise of video game technology in the early 90s, 2 games found themselves becoming the poster child for controversy in 1993, Mortal Kombat and Night Trap. Mortal Kombat was of course a gory one-on-one fighter that featured violent deaths called fatalities, while Night Trap was a game based on surviving a horde of robbers breaking into a house to murder you in a full-motion video game. Due to these games, along with Doom, congressional meetings are held as to whether or not these games should be allowed and be sold. Night Trap found itself pulled by Toys R Us and FAO Schwarz locations, while Mortal Kombat was one of the first games to receive an ESRB rating. Due to the ESRB, Mortal Kombat stayed in stores, and the ESRB helped deflect government regulation of video games in a massive sense. Thank you, ESRB. Number 1. Jack Thompson, hater of video games. Jack Thompson is a polarizing figure for many video game fans, as his outlandish views while holding a position of a prestigious attorney with strong ties to the US government would constantly try to hold back the gaming industry and maliciously hurt it. Thompson would attack tons of video games for their content, from Mortal Kombat and Grand Theft Auto to Doom and Bully. Thompson alleged a strong correlation between violence in children and violence in video games, even though these allegations would still stem after the ESRB was implemented to regulate the sales of games to minors. Thompson would use real-life tragedies such as Columbine to further push his agenda, which thankfully started to fall on deaf ears. Thompson's actions became more erratic, and in 2008, he was disbarred by the Supreme Court of Florida from his position as an attorney.
That was the 5 times the US government got involved with my video games. Now, I'm not a political person, I'm not a religious person, but I don't like people sticking their noses in my video games and messing around and trying to change things and whatnot. It's a form of art. It's like movies, books, music. It's just an expression. It's not even necessarily based on truth. It could just be based on surroundings or based on things that go on in your head. So let me know what you thought about these 5 controversies, which ones you remember, which ones you might not remember, and what controversies you would add to the list, because, you know, since then there have been more, and it's always very interesting. And if you're from another country, let me know what was a big deal in your country, because I know that Australia is having a really tough time right now with video games, which is crazy because we're in 2017, but there's still heavy censorship and still games that are not allowed in that country because of current political situations. I hope you guys enjoy this video. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. Make sure you hit that like button. Give me some feedback in the comment section down below, and I will catch you guys next time. Later.
RGT.